Hello, hello, hello there. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, everybody. I am your gracious host, Jeff Lightsy Jr. with the Black Boss channel. Thank you guys for tuning in. Please, I'm allowing everyone to come on into the room. Come on into the room as you enter. Please hit the thumbs up button because we have a lot to discuss today. I was just watching the Kanye West interview on Drink Champs Part 2. Kanye West interview on Drink Champs Part 2. And I heard so many great thoughts, so many great gems. Kanye West is an interesting, polarizing character. Also, as you come in, put your hashtag B1s in the chat. Hashtag B1s into the chat because Kanye West said a lot of powerful B1 material in this Drink Champs interview that I'm going to play snippets. Now, I'm not going to show you because of copyright issues and I'm not trying to get a strike, but I will play snippets of the audio because it was a lot of things that you can learn. Now, the problem with Kanye West, the only problem with Kanye West is he's very scatterbrained. So I have to, pick and choose and decipher and shift through some of it. So bear with me when I play some of the audio because he is very scatterbrained. He talks about 5 things at once. But some of the things that he says are very pro-black. One of the main topics of the interview, and he also brought along in part 2, he brought along Larry Hoover Jr., who was the son of the famous Larry Hoover of Chicago, who created the Gangster Disciples in Chicago. He brought on Larry Hoover Jr. to propel and promote the releasing of Larry Hoover Sr., who's been incarcerated for 47 years. Larry Hoover has been incarcerated for 47 years. That is a lifetime sentence, if you ask me. I mean, he's been incarcerated, 71 years old. He's been incarcerated since he was 24. 24. He's 71. Think about that. He is 71 years old. He has been incarcerated since he was 24 years old. That is a very, very long time. So hit the thumbs up button, like, share, subscribe. So, like I said, we're here today to talk about the B1 mindset and the B1 thoughts and the B1, talking points that we have been promoting on this platform, whether it's myself, Vicky Dillard, obviously Dr. Boyce Watkins, so on and so forth. Just so many great people that come on our platforms, talk about these things. But to see it on a program like Drink Champs, who has millions and millions of viewers, to see it come from a person like Kanye West, who was a billionaire, to see it on somewhat of a mainstream platform was very refreshing, was very enlightening, it made me happy. Right? It definitely made me happy to see that because this is what we're fighting for. We're fighting for the revolution, for the waking up. You always hear people talk about woke, but we're fighting for the waking up of our people. And the more people that these messages reach, the better that it becomes. Because here's the thing. I don't think, not me, not Dr. Watkins, not Vicky Dillard, not anyone that I can only kind of, not all the way, but kind of speak for people that come on this platform. None of us think any of you aren't smart enough to think in this way, to be black first, to put yourself black first, B1, to have the B1 mindset. It's not that we don't think the black community isn't smart enough. Just there is some Negro naysayers that are there that get paid by white folks to come and tell you the opposite. And then there's people that just don't know any better. Those are the ones that are ignorant. They're ignorant to the fact because they just don't know. They just don't know because they don't consume our style of media. They don't consume what we talk about. They don't consume the things that we say, but they'll consume something like a Drink Champs. And to have Kanye West to go on Drink Champs, his last interview, part 1 of his interview, hit 7 million viewers. Now, I don't know about you all, but I've never had a video, one video individually, hit 7 million eyeballs. I never have. The last Kanye West interview hit 7 million viewers. This one may not hit 7, but it's going to hit millions. And for him to go on there with millions of people and say, we need to build our own. We need to grow our own food. We need black-owned things. And to go on there and say, we need to practice the teachings of Dr. Claud Anderson to all of his fans and to all the people that consume the the podcast that is Drink Champs. That is big. That is a step in the right direction. That lets me know what we are doing, you included, what we are doing, that message is spreading. What we are doing, you included, that message is spreading. What we are doing, you included, that message is spreading. Please let me know in the chat. Please let me know in the chat that you understand what I am saying. And make sure to put your B1s and hit the thumbs up button, because we're going to dive into some of the things that he said and why it's so important. That lets me know we are headed in the right direction. I have so much hope. I woke up with a smile on my face because this aired last night, like really, really late at night. And I woke up and saw the clips. Shout out to Dr. Boyce, posted the one clip of Kanye saying Dr. Claud Anderson's name, but I went and indulged in I watched the first 2 hour part and I was like, dang, that was pretty good. But this last hour, 15-ish, the part 2, that is the part. This is what needs to be blasted. This is what needs to be said. Shout out to Chrissy MC and Mo Vaughn. I see you. Natalie 8. Thank you all for tuning in. Game 4. Matt, thank you all for tuning in. So what did Kanye West go on there and say? A lot of things it was almost as if Kanye West, I know for a fact, after watching that interview, Kanye West has listened to, obviously he's talked to Dr. Watkins. He's talked to Dr. Boyce before. I mean, that's well known. He's tweeted out about Powernomics. He's read Powernomics. He's probably read or listened to Dr. Claud Anderson in the Black Labor White Wealth stem, because it was so many things. Like I could tell he's watched us. He's watched this, and he reiterated those talking points. Shout out to Gabrielle Oliveri that's also tuned in. Be one of you too. And so, like I said, hearing that on a platform like Drink Champs lets me know we're going to get more and more of an audience, because now some people are going to be wondering, who is this Dr. Claud Anderson? Why should we build our own food? Why should we grow our own food? Why should we be black first? Why should we do these things? And once they start typing in these things, thanks to you and thanks to the work that we've done here on this side, they're going to find us. And they're going to be tuned in, and the audience, I think, is only going to grow because black people were too smart. We're tired of being played for a joke by all of these politicians, all of these butter biscuit eating Negro naysayers. We are tired of it, and we are finally not being woke. We're finally waking up. Something that Malcolm predicted 67 years ago is finally taking place. The revolution won't be televised, but guess what? It'll be streamed. The revolution is being streamed, and you are part of the changing of the guard. The changing of the guard is real, and it makes me so happy. And I'm going to show you or play for you. I can't show you, but I'm going to play for you some of the clips that made me smile. Some of the clips that made me happy with Kanye West. Now, let me talk about Kanye for a second. Now, Kanye on there, like I said, he's very scatterbrained. He gets to talking about a whole bunch of different things. He gets to talking about a whole bunch of different stuff, and sometimes he doesn't always stay on topic. What he went on there, now we know Kanye, and we don't care about, supporting individual politicians. We want policies. Forget the politicians. What are the policies? What are the tangibles? What are taking place? What are you going to do for the black community? That's what we care about. We don't care about what political party you're a part of. I don't care if you're a part of whatever. What are your policies? What are your tangibles? What is your black agenda? What are you going to do for our people? So Kanye went on there. He kind of went on a Democrat bashing. But he did he made good points in doing it. He did what we do. He did what we do every day. He went on there and said, what are the Democrats doing for black people? The Democrats went out and told you that you wasn't black if you didn't vote for them. They went out and put Kamala in front of you and said, look at her. She looks like you. Vote for her. They went out there and did all of these things without promising you anything. And if you questioned them, they called you crazy. If you questioned them, they called you a Trump supporter. If you questioned them, they tried to discredit you. All of these things we've been talking about. We've been talking about that for years. We have been talking about that for years. But for him to go to a platform like Drink Champs and say it there, that's huge. Because I think, albeit some people will stay where they're at, but I think it'll convince a few people like, actually, he does have a point. He does have a point because, you know, Joe Biden told me if I don't vote for him, I ain't black. But last I checked, Joe Biden ain't did nothing for black people. Kamala Harris told me, you know, she ski-wee into the polls, strolled to the polls with all the D9. She went to Howard. And in Howard, the students are out there living in 10 cities, and she ain't said nothing about it. Isn't that ironic? Our vice president of the United States, it's a black woman, apparently, went to Howard University, one of the most prestigious black colleges, HBCUs, in the country. Howard is known around the world. A lot of the Divine Nines were started right there in Howard, and there's students living in 10 cities, and the vice president of the United States, the second in command, has yet to say anything about it. Don't you find that interesting? Please, let me know in the chat. Let me know. Mo Vaughn, Chris MC, anybody else? Don't you find that interesting? That the vice president of the United States, her university, has students living in tents, has mold and rats and mice, and she has yet to speak out on it? Say anything about it? Please. Am I tweaking? Am I tripping? But these are the kind of things Kanye was bringing to light. And if you have any glimpse of intelligence, if your brain works at all, you would think that was interesting. Think about this. If your school or your house, say it's your family member, your mama's house, the place you love, because people that go to Howard love Howard. They talk about it being the Mecca and doing all these things. Your mama's house, that's your foundation, had mice and rats and mold. Wouldn't you say something to somebody about it? Wouldn't you put a spotlight on that? Wouldn't you try to fix that, make that happen, make that right? That's interesting. Kanye pointed things like that out. Kanye talked about group economics on a major platform. Group economics. Kanye supported Dave Chappelle and Ice Cube, two black men that are independent and are willing to give it all up, risk it all. But two black men that can't be canceled because they have ownership. It's hard to cancel a black man who isn't greedy and who has ownership. Now, Kanye is he's very arrogant. He is very much so arrogant. But I think to reach the level of success that he has reached, that's going to come with a slight bit of, narcissism, a slight bit of arrogance. You got to think about it. Kanye West, mother was a college professor, and he dropped out of college to be a rapper. Then you got to be kind of crazy. You're getting a free education. Think about this. Your mother is a college professor. You're getting a free education, and you drop out of college to be a rapper. And nobody's ever heard you rap. You gotta be kinda crazy to pull something like that off. Right? You gotta be just a little bit. Move from Chicago to New Jersey with a couple $100, barely enough to pay rent or to get some, you heard the stories. If you listen to Kanye, barely get any to rent some furniture from IKEA, sleeping on the floor, making 5 beats a day for 3 summers, right? I deserve to do these numbers. But this is what he exposed and talked about. Now, he took a lot of shots at the Democrats and he bigged up Trump a lot. And I'm not here to do nothing like that. But a lot of the things that he is saying is very much so true. Let me play the first clip from the Drink Champs. This is about Dave Chappelle. Let me know if you can hear the audio. Let me know if you can hear the audio. But this is the part about Dave Chappelle, Kanye's support of Dave Chappelle, and essentially why you can't cancel someone like Dave Chappelle. So here's Kanye talking about the Dave Chappelle controversy.
What cancel what? What cancel? What we canceling out here? It was the Stranger Things commercial where Dave Chappelle was in it. I don't know if you saw it, but the girl was like blowing people through the wall and shit or something like that. Maybe that's the wrong terminology. This girl, using her mind to telekinetically push people through air. And Dave Chappelle jumps out. He says, do me. Man, enough of this shit already, boy. Y'all just wait till someone ain't affecting the stock and y'all just take them out one by one to impose fear on anybody with freedom of thought. Well, I smack the shit out you when I see. Don't tell me what the fuck to do ever in your life, boy. None of y'all Hollywood plant-ass niggas tell none of us what we do. This our culture now. It's up. You can't cancel none of us. It's up, boy. And all of y'all scared niggas that's running around doing what these Hollywood niggas telling you to do, fuck y'all, man. It's up. Y'all either is about our culture that we grew up about, or you about yourself. Selfish, scared-ass house niggas. So they canceling what? Oh, no.
That's it. That's it. They're scared to be canceled because they're... And what he's saying is, y'all scared to have white people not like you. You're scared to take away your butter biscuits from the white folks. And once they take that away from you, you don't even know who you are. If white people tell you you aren't cool anymore, you think you're not cool. But in reality, you're the coolest thing in the world because you're the culture. The culture is what's cool, not the ignorant culture, not the, shoot them up, kill them up, steal, all that stupid stuff that they tell you is your culture. That ain't your damn culture. Your culture ain't shooting up, killing up, stealing up, having a bunch of baby mamas. That's not your culture. That's what they promote to make you think that's your culture. That's not your damn culture. Please do not ever, no one ever tell me that is a part of black culture. Shoot them up, kill them up, steal from them, rob them, do all that stuff. That's not it. You are the culture. That is the ignorant part of what take place in any culture that they promote to make you think that's what you are. But you can't cancel someone who really is the culture. Dave Chappelle is the culture. Dave Chappelle is who we all love. Dave Chappelle tells jokes that are hilarious because they're true. The joke he made about the baby. He said, how in the hell can the baby shoot a man, kill a man in Walmart, and nothing ever happened to his career? His career honestly hadn't really even taken off yet. But knowing that he shot and killed a black man, he was still able to become the baby, the famous rapper, the most listened to rap artist on Spotify. But as soon as he hurt someone from the LGBTQ community's feelings, it's cancel the baby, cancel Christmas, let him go, you drop from all the shows. Think about that. Please, think about it. The baby's career hadn't even taken off yet. He shot and killed. And granted, it was self-defense. It was self-defense. Don't get it twisted. He did that in self-defense. But it still happened. And nothing, most of you never even heard of it. Most of you never even knew it took place. Y'all knew who the baby was. You didn't even know that actually happened. But as soon as he hurt a gay person's feelings, as Dave Chappelle put it, it was cancel the baby. That is what I think Kanye is alluding to. Kanye's like, you can't cancel the culture. Dave is the culture. But y'all scared niggas are scared to get your butter biscuits and the white people to tell you you're no longer cool anymore. You're no longer cool anymore. You're scared of that taking place. And that's why you know Dave is right. You know Ice Cube is right. But you won't support him because you're scared that white people are going to tell you you're no longer cool. That is a problem. That is a major problem. Let me play another clip from Ye. I think I have this written down. This is 102. Let's see. Let's go from here.
Do to change environments, our space would help everyone. It would help everyone. You would be calm, relaxed. It's like a spa, the type of information. You know, my mama speaks through my daughter, and she said no cursing on the album. The album came out 2 days later, the clean edit, I like the Mike Dean edit of the clean edit. We have this engineer, Urko, did an amazing job, but Mike Dean does this echo. So we're doing the clean again. The album came out 2 days late because I took the cursing off, right? Because as families, they just don't need all that cursing in their living room like that. We're not only proving that we can do songs for God and put Jesus' name on high, we also showing we can do albums without cursing that's actually competing. Don't think that we gotta say, I'ma fuck your bitch, I'ma sell this pussy, I'ma kill you in order to sell records. Don't let the plan that they told Bone Thugs and Harmony keep our communities out of harmony.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. So for those of you who was not listening, be sure to hit the thumbs up, by the way. Shout out to you, Eric. Eric, I see you, Eric. Hit the thumbs up button. So what he's saying here is that we can make music, we can make albums, we can have successful, good, tasteful music without a whole bunch of cursing, without a whole bunch of, I'ma take your chick, I'ma FUB, all of these things. And it can be successful, and it can sound great, and it can be tasteful, and it can be awesome. Don't let them tell you that you can't make music this way, make music without a whole bunch of misogyny and talking about beating down the black community, selling drugs to the black community, messing over the black women, and not be successful. Now he alludes to Crazy Bone from Bone Thugs and Harmony. Crazy Bone from Bone Thugs and Harmony came out in an interview years ago. It was a few years back. And he said he went to a meeting with a bunch of record label executives. And in this meeting with these record label executives, they told him, this is when he said the change in hip hop took place. Said this took place in the 90s. Now, Crazy Bone from Bone Thugs and Harmony, this was him. This is you can look it up. You can look this up. He had a meeting with a ton of record label executives. And in that meeting with the record label executives is when he said hip hop changed. He said hip hop changed from a loving, upbeat, talking about the community, what's taking place in the community, but also different styles of music. Not just all selling drugs, pushing drugs, taking drugs, beating up on women, putting down the black women to get the foreign woman, do all of this stuff for foreign cars, Gucci belts, and all this stuff. He said that all was orchestrated in a meeting with the record label executives and top record label artists and people that run the artists, run the radio stations. All of these different guys were in there like the top dogs. And he was there because he had a label at the time. He was signed. He was an artist, obviously, with Bone Thugs and Harmony, but he also had his subsidiary record label that he had his artists. And basically in this meeting, he said prison executives were there. So this is his word. This is his word. You can look this video up. He said the prison system, the guys that run the prisons in this country, were offering stocks, were offering percentages and future prison systems to these record label guys to push and promote music that would fill their prisons, that would get black men to end up incarcerated, that would get black women to end up as baby mamas, to get black men to fill their prison systems. And that way we'll give you a percentage of the prison money if you make sure our prisons are full, if you make sure there's black men in there. This is what Kanye refers to when he says the Crazy Bone, the Bone Thugs, the meeting. That's what he's talking about. You can look up this Crazy Bone video yourself, and I might do another broadcast and actually play the audio from it. But this is what Crazy Bone from Bone Thugs said. I have no reason to lie to you. You can look at this video. It's on the internet. And he said that is the day that hip hop changed forever. Once that meeting took place, the sound changed. What was played on the radios changed. Everything changed. Not for the better, but for the worse. To fill those prisons. This is what Crazy Bone went on wax and said. And he said people that attended those meetings had to sign NDAs so they wouldn't go back and tell the public about what just took place. And anybody that refused to sign the NDAs were immediately escorted and were not allowed to be a part of this meeting. This is what Kanye is referring to. And so he's saying that we showed people that you can have a #1 album. We showed people that you can have great, tasteful music. We showed people that you can be still relevant and hot and dope and not have a bunch of effing yo B, taking somebody's chick, doing all of this crazy stuff, doing a bunch of cursing, putting down the community, all this stuff that they tell you is a part of your culture, and it's not. You can actually do something else. This is what Kanye is saying here in this snippet. And he's absolutely right. He's absolutely right. All the ignorant things that take place in black culture that they told you is a part of your culture isn't. It's just what they highlight. That was powerful to me. That was powerful. Because Donda did go #1. And it had limited cursing. And it didn't have a bunch of, oh, I'm going to go to the club and take this man chick. And if he want to fight it out, shoot it out. It didn't have to have that. And that was dope. That was dope to hear him say that. Because they've all marketed to you that hip hop is all about selling drugs and now taking drugs and abusing drugs. And it's killing our people. It is. That lifestyle is killing our people, and get all the chicks and have all the baby mamas. You're seeing these rappers from the 90s dying in their 40s. They're dying before their 50th birthday. Think about this. If you're dying before, most of like DMX, Black Rob, these guys are dying before their 50th birthday. If the life expectancy, I'm going to just give it a nice round number, 75, and you're dying at 45, that means you missed out on 30 years. You missed out on 30 years. You're dying at age 45 because of the lifestyle that you lived, because of the way that it was promoted, and because they told you this is what you had to be, and this is how you had to live to be a hip hop artist. You're dying at 45? Let's take it to more recent guys. Juice WRLD, drug overdose. King Von, violence. You're dying. These guys died in their 20s because of violence, or because of drug overdoses, because of what's promoted in the music, what people are telling them is cool. Come on. Come on. Hello? Man. And for Kanye to go and speak out on this on a platform that's going to reach 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, maybe even 6, 7, 10 million people, that's major. That is major. Hit the thumbs up button. Hit the thumbs up button. I want to share with you this last clip. And then I don't have the clip of this one, but he said this and I'm going to talk about it. But I want to share with you this last clip. Let me take you this last clip that he speaks about that was really, 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 really good. Let me see. See right here. Let's start it right here. I'm wait for my computer to load. Here we go.
How does that feel? Like, and you produced it.
It feels like it's another example that I can show y'all.
Okay, let me give you some context. So N.O.R.E, be sure to hit the thumbs up button too, guys. We're in here pretty heavy. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button. Thumbs up, like, share, subscribe. So N.O.R.E, who's the host of Drink Champs, asked Kanye, he was like, yo, man, you had a record that you're one of only 2 artists in the world ever to produce, that has a record that you produced and performed that sold over 10 million. So how does that feel? How does it feel that you actually have a record that you produced and performed that sold over 10 million, that did 10 million? How does that feel? And this is Kanye's response.
And especially nowadays with 10 million, how does that feel? Like, and you produced it.
It feels like it's another example that I can show y'all that we could build communities. That I can show y'all, like, look, I was able to do this. This man Moses saved Caesar's life in war. You know, now he's saying, like, look, I am y'all, and let's go and let's get free. And it's by just building, simple as that, simple communities. We don't need all of the things that feed our egos. Like ego, anger, misery, they love to hang out. They blood. Especially ego and anger. They always be together. And the more and more we do, so much of our stuff, our clothes, you know, my clothes is not, yeah, some ego, but this more, my thing is more about elegance and education. Let me educate you niggas with this outfit. when I put, cause that.
So think about what he just said. Think about what he said. This is another example of us to show that we can build our communities. There was a clip that I didn't play. I didn't play it, but he said it during this interview. He said, when I went to the prison, I looked out and I was looking at who on the yard, and I was seeing who was there, and I was looking at these guys, and I was listening to them talk, and I was seeing the things. And he said, and I saw myself, Kendrick Lamar, Andre 3000, that just didn't make it. They just ended up here because of whatever their situation. These guys are just as talented, just as smart, just as whatever. But they ended up here. Why? Because of the system that they were placed in. These guys are just like me. These guys are just as talented as me. These guys could have did it just like me. But something prevented them, and that caused them to be here. This system that we're promoting, this system that we're a part of, this system that encapsulates and captures our people. So that's the only difference, is I was just happen to make it out. But I'm from the same place that they're from. That was powerful to me. It's like, yo, that's crazy. But those are things that we've been saying here a bunch. A whole bunch. Make sure you hear the part when he speaks on Dr. Claud Anderson. Be sure to and let me know if you can hear. Let me know that the audio is playing okay.
That's what it do. Because 2-3 years later, niggas be doing that fit. Or when we did the foam runners, I've been like, yo, we need to not have laces. Because like what not, and it comes back. You know, we don't need the Force Ones come back. No offense to anybody that got Force Ones. I'm just saying.
He's talking about some fashion stuff first. Let me skip past some of this.
Ever change something? If we don't start on a new one. With Cube, he say like, man, what's been happening?
Here we go.
Been working. He'll meet with Trump.
So right here, he's about to talk about Ice Cube and kind of how the Democratic media kind of played Ice Cube, hung him out to dry, tried to make him crazy. Let's listen to what he had to say.
And then they'll cancel him. Man, fuck out of here. Y'all need to give me the proper fucking, I want to be hung over a motherfucking doorknob and killed, and y'all say that I fucking went crazy and got doped out, but y'all gonna stop fucking with me and stop fucking with Cube and stop fucking with Dave Chappelle and anybody that's black in a position of power that got an opinion. Y'all gonna stop fucking with us. Come and get me. My nigga, come and get me. I do it, nobody else. Me. Come and get me. I like Trump. Yeah, I said it. I'm rocking with Trump. I'm never voting Democrat till y'all actually do something that changes something. Now, when we come together and vote as a block, like Dr. Claud Anderson said, the Democrats, they're going to be forced to do it. They ain't going to just give it to us. China ain't going to just give it to us. They're going to hand it to us. They'll just show you somebody that look like us and get 94% of the black vote, and we just give it to them. We're just so happy just to see somebody that we think is us. That we think like, Common don't know her daddy or black daddy like that.
He said, once we vote as a block, as Dr. Claud Anderson said, that'll change everything. Let me run that back. Make sure you heard that.
Dr. Claud Anderson, y'all actually do something that changes something. Now, when we come together and vote as a block, like Dr. Claud Anderson said, the Democrats, they're going to be forced to do it. They ain't going to just give it to us. China ain't going to just give it to us. They're going to hand it to us. They'll just show you somebody that look like us and get 94% of the black vote. And we just give it to them. We're just so happy just to see somebody that we think is us. That we think like, I don't know her daddy or black daddy like that.
That was it, y'all. That was it. It don't get no more realer than that. It don't get no more realer than that, man. To really hear him go on that platform in front of all those millions of people that'll watch that video between now and who knows forever. Millions of people will consume that. And to hear him go on there and say, once we vote as a block, as Dr. Claud Anderson said, once we stop just going for the okie doke, once we stop just thinking everything is okay because they put a black face in front of you and tell you to do something. And once we actually look at it and we actually demand some tangibles, that is when the change will take place. But the fact that someone like Kanye West, of his stature, worth billions of dollars, sold millions of records, won a bunch of Grammys, has been best friends with white people for a very, very long time. Now that he's flipped and he's converted, that lets me know that this message is reaching people far and away. And I love it. And I love it. I love it so, so much. I love it. I love it for you. I love it for me. I love it for my future children, my future grandchildren, because that lets me know we're heading in the right direction and there's no stopping this. Because here's the thing about Black excellence. Here's the thing about knowing Black excellence and being introduced to people like Dr. Boyce Watkins and Dr. Claud Anderson and things like that. Here's the beauty behind that. Because once you hear the message and once you grasp it and once you understand Dr. Claud's message, once you understand Powernomics, once you understand Black labor, white wealth, once you understand these teachings of Malcolm X, once you understand these things, your life is changed forever. No matter who you are, as long as you're a Black man and you love Black people, if you say you love Black people and truly mean it. Now, there's some people that say they love Black people, but they don't mean that. Once you say you love Black people and you mean it, once you hear these messages, your life is changed forever. You can't fight it, Chrissy MC. You're right. You can't fight it. Your life is changed forever. Blood Moon, absolutely. Your life is changed forever. No reparation, no vote. Your life is changed forever. Now, no reparation, no vote says Ye's cherry picking. So he wants us to vote for red hats and he's screaming black and brown. See, here's the thing about Ye. And once again, I'm not telling you who to vote for, but I like this because I want to touch on this. Kanye was in support of Trump. And this is just his words. And I'm not saying it's right or wrong. He was in support of Trump because he felt like Trump was doing more for Black people. And I've heard other Black people say this. I've heard Angela Stanton King say this exact thing. I've heard Mosh Toure say this exact same. People that have been on our platform, people that I've talked to in person have said this exact same thing. Now, I'm not one to tell you one way or another, but things like the First Step Act are things that Kanye brought up that he felt like Trump was a tangible that Trump did. A lot of Black people were released from prison due to the First Step Act. The money that was given from the Trump administration to HBCUs. These are the things that Kanye pointed out. And so that is why he's more of a, that's why he is a supporter of Trump. Now, I don't support none of these guys because I need more for Black people. But when you force people to do what you say and tell them you ain't getting no vote just because you go out there and strolling, just because you went to an HBCU, just because you're a so-called Black person, that makes them reevaluate everything. Absolutely, Mike Harden said, Dr. Claud Anderson changed my life. He changed mine as well. Because once you hear that message, once you read those words, once you grasp that concept, your life is changed forever. You can't go back. Because then you realize, the reason why you can't go back is because you start adding things up. 2 + 2 + 2 = 6. And you're like, oh, I see how they got to 6. Dr. Claud, some people tell you we got to 6 because, magic, right? No, Dr. Claud Anderson and his messages and his books that he wrote 30 years ago. You got to think about this. Powernomics was written in the 90s. Black Labor, White Wealth, I want to say, was written in 1993 or 94. So we're talking about almost 30 years ago. Before I was born, these books were written. And he breaks it down. He tells you, he's like, no, America didn't just get like this by chance. This was a system of racism. This was a system of prejudice. And they convinced you and your leaders, and not only convinced them, but paid some of them off to make you think that this stuff was okay. And it wasn't. And it isn't. And the same system is taking place now, paying some of your so-called leaders to make you think this stuff is okay. And it's not. And that is what is that mindset has infiltrated Kanye West. And now he's screaming it and preaching it from the masses. And I think this is that reach, that work that's been put in for years from people like yourself, from people like Dr. Claude, Dr. Boyce. It's finally working. It's finally getting there. We're going in the right direction, because I promise it's like a drug. Once you realize how to actually really help your people, and if you got to really want to help your people. You got to really want to change their mindset. You got to really want to do these things. It's like a freaking drug. It's in fluid in your veins, and you never come back from it. Your mindset is forever altered in the right direction, and how to be B1. Once this B1 mindset, once you become truly B1, you never change. There's no dollar that can buy you. There was no white man that can convince you. There was no so-called black man that can convince you. Once you truly have that changing of the guard. And that's taking place with Kanye. And he was preaching some of that message on Drink Champs. And that made me really, really happy. And this is the last point I'm getting to. This is the last point I want to get to. Thank you guys for sticking with me. Hit the thumbs up button. But this is my last point. And leave any comments and thoughts or whatever in the chat. If you have any questions or whatever in the chat, leave them in the chat and I'll try to get to them. This is my last point. Kanye also said this, and this is crucial, and I've heard Dr. Boyce talk about this for forever. So they had Larry Hoover Jr. on there. And for those of you who don't know, Larry Hoover, I spoke about this already early in the broadcast, but Larry Hoover was the leader of the Gangster Disciples in Chicago. Larry Hoover Jr., his son, who was 47 years old, has never seen his dad outside of prison walls. Larry Hoover Jr. was there, and he was talking about his dad's case, and what they're trying to do to get him out, and trying to use the First Step Act to get Larry Hoover Sr. out. He's been in jail for 47 years. Larry Hoover Jr. has never seen his dad outside of a jail, outside of a prison. And N.O.R.E was asking about, he's asked Larry Hoover Jr., he's like, yo, your dad was really, because I guess he didn't know. He's like, your dad was really the leader of the Gangster Disciples? Like, your dad was really like the top dog in the gang? He was like, yeah, I mean, it ain't nothing to lie about. Yeah, he was the leader of the Gangster Disciples. He did what he did, not to say that it's right, but he did what he did, whatever. But they won't tell you about the community work that he did, so on and so forth. And so N.O.R.E was trying to, he asked the question. He said, I don't know if I should ask this, but he's basically asking, what is the rival gang to GDs? Like, what is the rival gang to the Gangster Disciples? And the answer that he thought he was going to get, or that, somebody watching it like me thought was going to be given by Kanye or from Larry Hoover, was going to be the BDs. The BDs are the rival gang to the GDs, the Black Disciples. There's the Black Disciples and there's the Gangster Disciples. So when N.O.R.E asked it, he said, who's the rival to the GDs in Chicago? Like, who's the rival gang? Who are they beefing with or whatever? Kanye stops Larry Hoover and says, the rival gang is Vivendi. And N.O.R.E's like, whoa, Vivendi, of Universal Music Group? Vivendi of Universal Music Group, the record label? He said, yeah, they're the rivals. He said, because we're not, he said, GDs, BDs, black people, is how I took it. He said, black people, we're all in the same gang. We're all in this together. Our rival is the record labels. Our rival is Vivendi, is Universal Music Group, is Apple Music, is Spotify, is these people that are pushing this stuff, pushing this to our community, pushing that this is our culture, pushing that this is just how black people act, pushing that this is how you're supposed to be if you want to be black, or you want to be real, or you want to be gangster. And I was like, oh my God, he just said this thing. You got to remember, Drink Champs is on iHeartMusic, which is in collaboration with Universal Music Group, Epic Records, Sony Records, Def Jam, Apple Music, Spotify, all of these things. They're all on the same platform. And so for Kanye to go on Drink Champs and to say that the GDs are black people, the B1 community, our rival isn't each other. Our rival is them. And if you don't see it, here's why. And it was like, whoa, he really just did that. Whoa, he really just said that. Whoa, he really just brought it to him, brought it right to him. Now, for some folks, that'll go over their head. For some folks, they'll just brush right past that. For some folks, they'll act like that never happened. And for some folks, they genuinely just won't understand what he was saying. Well, this is what I'm here for. I'm like the Kanye translator. I'm here to tell you what that means. Dr. Boyce talks about this all the time. When he goes after, he sometimes like he's going after these artists, whether it's Cardi B or Lizzo or whoever, and he makes it very, very clear. It's like, I'm not going after the artist. I'm going after your boss. I'm going after your puppet master. I'm going after the people that pay your bills. I'm going after the people that sign your checks. I'm going after the people that know exactly what they're using you to do. And that's what Kanye said. He said, our rival isn't each other. Or the GD's rival isn't the BD's. The B1 community, the black people, the B1 community rival isn't other black people. It's the people that is pushing this and telling you this, the way this is because it's a part of your culture. When in all honesty, it isn't. They're pushing this to you and telling you and marketing to you, saying that this is the way you're supposed to live because you're black. In all honesty, it's not true at all. But they know that because guess what it does? That fills up those prisons that Crazy Bone talked about. It fills up those prisons. And it continues to create a genocide among our own people. People to scream, hands up, don't shoot, Black Lives Matter, the police are killing all of us, blah, 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 blah. But what about all these people that are slain every year because of the chakras that they're inhaling, that they're taking in when they listen to those beats? Dr. Wesley Muhammad spoke about this. Shout out to Dr. Wesley Muhammad. He spoke about the sounds of the beat, the sounds of the music, and how that alters you, how that alters your body, how that alters what's taking place within your body. And all of it makes sense. It's too powerful to ignore. And we as a community, the B1 community, the ones that actually care about black people, that want to put us first, we're too powerful to ignore. We were in the shadows for a long time, right? We were in the shadows as the outcasts, as the people that made you seem crazy, as the people that, that just wanted things for black people. Oh, you crazy. Go shut up. No. We're front and center now. We're front and center, and we're never going back to the shadows. They used to, when you used to talk like this, they used to kill you off. R.I.P. Malcolm X, R.I.P. Fred Hampton, R.I.P. Dr. Martin Luther King. They used to either, kill you off or exile you. R.I.P. Kwame Ture, a.k.a. Stokely Carmichael, who they exiled. R.I.P. Eldridge Cleaver, who they exiled. Or you had to conform. Well, now we no longer have to conform. Now they're no longer, they can't kill us off because our army is too strong. We're not led just by one person. They can't exile us. Our army is too strong. And our voice is only getting bigger. We're only reaching more and more people every single day. Every single day. That's all I have for today, guys. Thank you for all of those who tuned in today on today's broadcast. Once again, I'm Jeff Lightsy Jr. with the Black Boss Channel. Thank you guys for tuning in. Hit the thumbs up button. You guys were amazing. The questions that you came in, Elvin Price, Chrissy MC, Blood Moon, Dave Thompson. Shout out to all of you guys for tuning in. I do have a question. Elvin Price says, what qualifies someone as black? Honestly, to me, if you have one drop of black in you and you love black people and you really love black people, that qualifies you as black. But if you are a black person, not the I don't want to name call or anything, but not those butter biscuit eating folks that just tell you anything, that say they're black, that pretend to care about the black community. No, the ones who are actually putting in the work, the ones that are actually telling you to use your critical thinking skills, those people are the ones that I consider black. Lipped and Loaded, shout out to you. Thank you guys for all tuning in. Hit the thumbs up button on your way out, and I will see you next time. Peace.